Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome, guys, to the Roundtable Podcast, guys. Again, we're just waiting for people to come on. I don't think there's nobody on at this particular time, but guys, welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. And guys, I guess before we get started, it's me, it's Art, it's Lady B here, and me, Antonio here. Guys, we're still waiting for the other two to come in. But even out there, if you need services, I've been talking about this through the week, but if you need services in terms of how to get your podcast off the ground, you can contact us. And you can reach out to us actually on this platform. Message us or whatever. And guys, we will be able to help you. We're running some great deals with the podcast. You can get exactly 4 podcasts. You could do 4 podcasts under about 30 minutes per podcast for $250 a month, which is a very good deal, guys. And I'll even throw in where, if depending on your location and the setup arrangements, we might be able to accommodate you by bringing the podcast to you mobile. That would be a mixing board and up to 3 microphones. Now, if it's just you and you wanted us to come to your location, depending on the location setup, we can do that. And I'm willing to do that for $50 an hour, depending on where you live, to set up that pod for you. We bring in the mixer, we bring in the headphones, everything that you would need. All you need to do is have what it is that you're going to do, and talk about it. We'll take care of all the rest.
Here we can make it happen. Most definitely.
Even in terms of editing, now, because you might be saying, well, I want a pod, but I don't know how to edit. Well, we can edit for you. We can edit the actual video or audio for you. So to help you have a successful podcast. Guys, in this media, this is going to be the new norm. This is going to be the new norm, whether you want to believe it or not. What's going on right now is going to be the new norm until people get out of the fear of being around one another. Until then, this is what's going to be the new norm. And that's why I'm telling you now, if you would like your podcast, and we need more outlets, we need more outlets like your outlet that you might be thinking of. We need more outlets out here, whether you're black or white, doesn't matter. We just need more outlets because the media is not really speaking the truth like they should. They're not really speaking the truth, and we know why. You should know why. If you don't know why, then maybe you need to do your research. But guys, it's plenty of opportunities out here for potting, where you can have your own podcast, whether it be via Zoom, via live StreamYard, whether it be via what is the other one?
What is it? Zoom?
Sling. Sling. I said Zoom. Sling. Whether it's Sling, you can do your own video. But guys, enough about that. We can go ahead and get into the program, the schedule. today, where we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about in our relationship, our men really like independent women? Do men really like independent women? We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the voting, or the actual mail room that's going on the post office, about people and their absentee ballots, filling those out, as well as we'll talk about what's going on. And see, this next topic, we're not necessarily talking about Pastor John Gray, because there's not enough information out there. And so I'm not talking, I'm using him as a reference, but we're not talking, we're going to talk about men in general, but it's not going to be specifically him.
Because I know last week you did talking about what we're going to talk about today, but you didn't even think about Pastor John Gray's story.
No, actually, no.
So this has nothing to do with him,
No, I have nothing to do with him, but it's ironic, that we will talk about this around this time, allegedly the things that's been said and brought out again about Pastor John Gray. And guys, so we have a lot to talk about on the docket, and I guess we can go into what's going on with Trump, or this. I don't know what you want to call it, suppressing the rights for voters to mail in their absentee ballots. They're turning those ballots in, and the failure to allow those people to mail in due to what's going on at the post office. Is that part of the scheme of things?
Right.
That's what I mean.
Figure out, because this topic is trending. When I say hot, it's just coming down the thread. And even on the Yahoo News, I mean, it's big time. We might not think it, but it's big time.
Yeah, and what do we think about that? I mean, suppressing the vote, absentee ballots. What's going on with that situation? To address, do you want to talk about anything? Do you have any article or clip to read on?
I have a little quick summary. It said President Trump and his new appointment of Postmaster DeJoy. Many people feel that 45 put in a new postmaster to stir up some controversy for the upcoming election.
Wow. They believe he put in to stir up some new controversy.
Yeah,
what did he say?
Yeah, he put in a new postmaster, and they believe that it was due to stir up some controversy before the upcoming election. So it's been people talking about that too.
Yeah, what do you think about it?
It said that more than 10,000 votes in August primary election were not counted because they arrived after the polls closed.
Oh wow!
So that's been a problem with the news. So what do you think?
Well, okay, so I didn't expect for it to be an easy fight. Where no one, whether it be Trump or Biden, to just, just give up so easily. There's a lot in stake for this country, for our liberties, for a lot of things that's going on. There's a lot in stake for this country, and it's all about how people perceive America. And how they perceive America is based on who's in office, believe it or not. Based on who, because that's all they really actually have to fall on, who they see in office. And that's going to determine the state of America in terms of how we do business with, whether it be China. I mean, there's a lot going on there with China that is just literally crazy. And it's going to take the right president to sit in that seat. Even dealing with Korea, what is it, North Korea, where they don't know if their president is passed away or not. And they're still trying to figure that thing out. Is he really have he passed away? And they're not saying anything. So there's a lot going on in this country And it does make a difference about who's president. And that president can't be fearful about the moves that's going to need to be made, because there's a lot of people. Well, I'll say it like this. Obviously, we've been the people that been doing bullying for years.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, can we hear this video or anything?
Let's do that.
Because I can't hear anything on the video.
Gotta cut the volume.
And that's the thing that we're dealing with. And that's who needs to be the next president. It's bigger than white and black. It's way bigger than white and black. It's about your liberties. It's about what's been taken and what continues to be taken from America. It's about us really just standing together and saying, like, this is what we want in our country. This is what we don't want in our country.
Right.
There's a lot of people who want to get into America, guys, believe it or not. I mean, there's a lot of people leaving America.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people who's coming to America because of what they consider to be valuable to them. And a lot of times it deals with the economic factor about the money that's been made in other countries, and they feel like if they get to America, they can make a difference. But a lot of people have been taking advantage of that. So it's been a lot of advantages. So if we can hear what Trump's saying or just hear the report, it'll be fine.
Of mail-in ballots expected in November because of the coronavirus, workers are blaming the new Postmaster General, a top Republican campaign donor who has given more than $1.1 million to the Trump Victory Fund. Here's CBS's Ben Tracy.
Today, President Trump continued his unsubstantiated attacks on voting by mail.
This is going to be the greatest election disaster in history.
And now there are concerns that cost-cutting at the Postal Service, overseen by a key Trump ally, could undermine postal workers' ability to deliver ballots in time to be counted, allowing President Trump to question the election.
If you do universal mail-ins with millions and millions of ballots, you're never going to know what the real result of the election is.
Louis DeJoy is the new Postmaster General and a Trump donor.
I am direct and decisive, and I don't mince words.
CBS News has learned that after assuming his position last month, DeJoy forced cost-cutting measures leading to undelivered mail piling up at post offices across the country.
Yeah, I know about
and
that.
CBS News confirmed this internal Postal Service directive that outlines an operational pivot, saying extra trips to deliver mail are no longer authorized, and that we may see mail left behind or mail on the workroom floor or docks, which is not typical.
Mail is backing up, is getting delayed.
Mark Dimmenstein is president of the American Postal Workers Union.
We're being demanded in one way or another with these new policies to delay mail. That's against everything we stand for.
The Postal Service has struggled financially for years and lost $9 billion last year alone.
The Postal Service is a joke.
Postmaster General DeJoy declined our request for an interview, but in a statement, the Postal Service says it is in a financially unsustainable position. And despite any assertions to the contrary, we are not slowing down election mail or any other mail.
Yeah, I mean, it's we could cut it there. Hey,
everyone.
But I guess my thing is that can we say that we didn't see any trickery coming when it comes to this politics? I can't say that I'm surprised. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in this election. Anything can happen in this election. I mean, nothing's off the table. And I guess this is just something that proves that. It's never really that I understand have happened before where mail has been delayed like it's been delayed in terms of especially those trying to vote. It's ironic, you know what I mean, that this would happen in this situation. But I mean, it's something that we should expect. I mean, you know what I mean? It's something nothing's off the table, guys. No matter how much we want to believe, nothing is off the table. And I'm gonna go so far and that even say about what is her name? Is running with Biden.
What's the
Harris.
Harris.
I'm even saying that about Harris. That nothing's off the table. To me, clearly, she shouldn't even be a running mate for Biden. Shouldn't even. This woman is not black. She's black in color. She's
Wait,
black
we
in color.
had this conversation last week, Tone, and I said, is she black really? And we came to consensus that yeah, she would be black. I mean, we accepted Obama.
Well, Obama is more Obama. I didn't accept Obama. I mean, you
as black. You didn't consider him a black president?
Well, I never looked at it whether him being black or not. All I seen was skin color, so it didn't give me a reason to, to look deep into this man's life. But I guess it's the same thing. Here's the thing that I want to say is this though: this woman has no connection to blackness in terms of African Americans. She had no.
Her father is Jamaican.
Well, here's the thing: her father is Jamaican, and I heard something down the line that he's mixed with something too. You know what I mean? In terms of not being black. You know what I mean? This woman is married to a white man. She's married to a white man. Her mother, she's so far from black, from African American. That is not even funny. And see, here's the thing. I've looked into people who has put up complaints about this woman and her office and running. From the people who's complaining about her, they're even saying that this woman has no interest in Black America. Just the people who've dealt with her on business, Even Joe Brown, the judge, is chewing her up and spitting her out. He's chewing her up and spitting her out.
Well, like Erica said, we got a comment. Erica, thanks for joining us today.
Yes,
like she said, she went to a HBCU. How is that not connected to Black Americans? She's also an AKA.
You can be,
and she self-identifies as an African American woman.
Where and when? Where and when?
Can you believe this? Just last 7 days ago, I asked the same question, and you said Jamaican is black. Therefore, she is black, Tone. That's what you said, Tone.
If you go deeper, her roots, and listen to what I said. I've never changed my statement because we didn't talk about her as a person. We just talked about ethnicity. I can't pronounce that, but you get what I mean. We just, when we go into her looking at her character, I'm talking about people who've see. This is what I do. I don't judge a book by what they look like. I judge a book by what other people have said about this person.
Okay, so are you saying that? Right. So let's clarify, because last week you went off the strength that her dad was Jamaican and Jamaicans are black, therefore she is black. So we're not talking about skin tone. You are referring to her, like you said, her interest or her dedication to uplifting the issues of the Black community. You don't feel that she's connected to that.
I don't feel that she's, from what I've heard, I don't know her personally, but from what I've heard, her connection to African Americans is just not there, or it's been suppressed in terms of, even with what is her name? Who's the princess? What was her name? Prince Harry, wife? Is it Harry?
Oh,
what's her name? Megan. Like she don't really identify as African American. She don't identify. If you just happen to see her
now,
mother,
do you claim Tiger Woods?
No, I don't claim Tiger Woods either. I don't claim Tiger Woods either. Listen. So we won't. I'm not talking about who's black enough. But what I am saying is, what have you done for Black African Americans?
She joined the AKAs
to build up. That's that. What I'm saying is, what have she done to say that I'm in the trenches and out of all these Black women who are capable and who are really in the struggle of African American women and as well as men, she don't fit that bill. In
Come
fact,
on now.
this woman really wasn't. She didn't even make it. I mean, trying to run for president, she had a momentum that dropped. You know what I mean? But this woman didn't even have.
Just like we had to make a concession and accept Obama into the fold as an African American in order for us to believe that we had our first African American president. I think the same is going to need to hold true because I see what you're saying, but to those people who, and I forgot what it's called, but those people who vote based on just seeing themselves in that person, nothing else. I mean, what percentage really of the population reads their legislation, reads their track record? And I'm not saying that people aren't that don't, but the masses, what percentage actually really vote based on
what they know?
Exactly. They gonna look at her and say she's black, she's a black woman. She, my little kids, my little girl can now see themselves in the office because of her. I'm voting for her.
Well, here's the thing. Now, here's the part that's, to me, even disrespectful to the black people, to African Americans. This is a disrespect that I see. That we wouldn't get a person who's really black. I mean, 100% African American, black, who have black qualities, been in the community, understand what goes on in our community. We'll find someone who just have the likeness, that they're in the likeness, like the movie that say Blackish. You know what I mean? Who's blackish? She's blackish. Yeah, I give you that. But does she meet the criteria? I mean, is she vice president material, assistant, vice president material for African Americans?
So I guess a couple of things. I mean, based on it, you might not know it right off the top of your head, Tone, or maybe anyone maybe you can answer this. Number one, who would have been that woman that you just described that would have been a better fit? But number two, this is the thing, and I've come to accept this. The president and a vice president of the United States, those positions are mainstream positions. There are mainstream roles. So I believe had he selected someone who was extreme anywhere, there would lessen the likelihood of him becoming a president. And I think right now, the focus for the Democrats, by all means necessary, I think they all got together and said, who is the least controversial, the least person that might have conflict, where we can have on that ticket that can move them through a path to the presidency. And I think if they would have selected someone like you're talking about, Tone, which I don't necessarily disagree, I think would have lessened the likelihood of that ticket it would have decreased the chances of that ticket becoming a president and vice president of the United States. So that's just my thought.
So what you're saying, in other words, they didn't have black people as an agenda. It's not about black folks. It's about who can make the presidency, who can sit down in that seat. I'm on YouTube while you guys are on here, and I'm looking at a statement. It was something that was put out that you can look it up. It's talking about how she's been exposed, and it has Joe Judge Brown. He goes in on her. Now, this is a judge who's been fighting for black folks for years, in and off in the community, and Joe Brown chewing this woman up and spitting her out in terms of her record. And there's people who I'm looking at, if you were to go to YouTube, you would see them saying that this woman have a horrible record in terms of black in the black community. A horrible. I mean, I see this more than one time. You can pull it up and look at yourself. What I'm saying is this. They found the right person. Yeah, because they're not interested in what you're interested in. They'll get somebody who looks like you so that you will run to the polls and say, I do all over again. And you can keep abusing me. You can keep, in fact, as long as you throw a black face up there like you did Obama, just like I remember people, I have family members, older family members, who said the only reason why they voted for Obama was because he been black. That's it. It didn't matter. But see, here's the thing. That's why they disrespect us so much. But that's why they disrespect you so much, because they think that all they need to do is throw a collar up and you're fine. You don't care about the abuse as long as the person is black. And that's why we're going to keep getting stuck. Like we're getting
the race is really still going to be between Biden and Trump. I really don't think this is a vice president. Because of all the things you just said, it was a strategic move, but I still think the main fight is between Biden and Trump. So here's the thing. If you were going to vote for Biden, then they just want to solidify those who were kind of leaning towards Biden but wasn't quite sure. They put her in there to kind of seal the deal. So if you are already not feeling Biden's platform and what he was, what he's claiming he'll do, then I don't think that, having her as a vice president swayed you that drastically. I still think the fight is between them two.
Another point is this, and thank you, Erica, for your last comment, because Erica said, but also most qualified. I mean, she said that Kamala is the most qualified. She has gotten so much work done as a senator. And let me build upon that. I think when we're thinking about the country as a whole, I think it's short-sighted. I'm going to get somebody black who's just been in the black community. I think the job as a president and vice president is so much larger than that. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's take when Obama came in office, he was pretty much inexperienced. His rise was meteoric. So what he did was when he brought Biden on, you know what Biden did based on experience? When he needed to get votes for the Affordable Care Act, you need a vice president that's experienced enough, not just in the black community, that needs to be able to go into Congress and politic, garner votes necessary to move forward legislation. Number two, another thing Biden did, when they were in the Situation Room and Osama bin Laden, he needed Biden's experience next to him in terms of world affairs. And not saying that there isn't a black woman who was qualified to do that, but you need to be, I think, astute in the affairs that concern blacks. But as the vice president, you need to be knowledgeable of world affairs and be able to navigate in Congress and government and Israel and Russia, and not just the black community. You need a partner who's experienced in that as well, and not just the black community. I think Kamala, I'm sure, I haven't done it. If I looked at her voting record, I know I can find all of those elements that would say she's qualified to be the vice president of the United States.
I believe you. And the reason why I believe you is because of who she's around. Obviously, okay, so here's the thing. When you mention presidency or vice president, that's obviously that you want them to be qualified. So that's no words that need to be said. Obviously, you want somebody in office qualified. So we get that part. That's fine. We understand that. But I'm saying is that you still want them to have your interest at hand. Black people's interest has never been at hand. Even Ice Cube said something that made it. Everybody's behind this. So just so you know. Okay, so even Ice Cube have said, here is the time that we need to make a move, because this time may not ever come back. Here is the time that we need to make a move, a drastic move. You know what the vote is? You know what the move is out now that people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people are doing. They're saying that nobody gets my vote until you put on how are you for black folk? There's a lot of people who saying that. They're saying we're tired of getting jammed all of the time and say, okay, little black folks, calm down. We're in office now, but we're not going to do anything for you. Like they.
Well, I think that
I can truly tell you that I have not really felt when I don't care who's in office, really. If I really focus on how have they helped me where I can really, really physically see it, I can say none of them. Not now one of them. And my thing is that we have to stop kidding ourselves. And I get it. You want to be a part of the process. I get it. You want to feel politically correct. I get all of that. You want to be this and this and that. But when black people start and stop doing the same thing over and over again, like I heard a pastor said about marching when people was in the street. He said, marching, that's an old way of doing things. That's why people still marching and people still getting shot. Because you have to change the narrative. You can't keep sticking with the same abuse that black people have been abused every election. The only time they even care about us is during election, then they'll throw somebody up there. But I mean, I'm 49, I get it. I mean, it's been my reality since I've been black, you get what I mean, in America. So my thing is, if you know, all I'm saying is that there's a one black guy who said this is not about black and white. This president's seat is not about black and white. It's about your patriotism to America. That's what we're fighting against right now.
Well, that's what they said. This fight is about democracy, because those who are pro Biden, in his camp, they're trying to paint the picture that if you vote for Trump, then you are putting democracy at stake. Because he's such a wild card. I'm just saying, like when I look at the news shows and everything, this seems to be the messaging, right? And if you're Trump, if you're pro-Trump, then to vote for Biden is leaving the world to catastrophe. What the guy called it, like the opposite of utopia. He called it a dystopia, I think was the word he used. So, you know, like you said, the argument is not even really about what are your policies. Not at this point. I think when we get them in the debates, I think then we'll be able to drill down to more so what is your policy versus what is your. But right now, the appeal is, do you save democracy, you know, or do you let all hell break loose? That's the two.
Right.
And you know.
And everybody have their perspective on what that means in terms of the election. I guess all I'm saying is that, you know, this mail thing that's going out you know, about the mail slowing down. I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised.
I'm still waiting on the package now.
On you. I mean, so you shouldn't be surprised about anything that's going on in this election here. But my thing is that right now nobody has my vote, and I'm not convinced. Not one bit. I'm not. There's nobody in between Democrats and Republicans that has impressed me. Not even by a little bit. Not even like a
little bit, huh?
That you have impressed me. In fact, I know the bull crap that's been coming out of their mouths. If you even following any one of them, you know what I care more about? I wish I could put this black brother up there who's talking about the same thing. I care about where this country is headed because I'm a part of it. You know what I mean? Before I even look into black and white, I care about where this country is headed and making sure we're not giving our country over to other people and let them run our country. One thing I can say if I can't say anything else, and I don't care if this come back at me, that Donald Trump is not scared to pull the trigger. You know what I mean?
He's setting up with terrorists. He's setting up with
before then, people was. Do you know there's people who are not as scared of who, since Trump been in office, is more scared of America than they are less afraid of America? Where when Obama was in office, there's people who were saying that they didn't even respect Obama when he'll show up in different countries. Wouldn't even respect this man. Listen, there's people, our country, we have to take our country back. I'm for patriotism. I'm not for, that's what I'm for. I'm for China not coming over here, taking over my country and running this country and Russia playing. That's why they playing games with us. The people don't get
that. Russia played games with Trump. I mean,
no,
like you said, are we surprised? Let's not forget, guys, 2016 election. Let's not forget, like, this is the same guy, or I don't even want to say guy because I don't want to attack the person, but this is the same camp that tried to call Hillary out on some emails. That, you know, we had a whole investigation about Russia tampering into our elections through the media. Like this is the same camp, and here we go. Now it's the mail. You know, it's
And the thing about it is, and what I do agree with Tone on this, I like to look at, you know, I believe what you do. You know, I believe people can, like I said, you can talk me to death. But so now, you know, the current administration has a record. Like they have 4 years that we can actually talk about as factual behavior that has taken place under this administration. So there's a record of facts that you can talk about. For example, when we talk about, like Tone just mentioned about, you know, fear and people, how in terms of respecting Trump, I think it was three. There was the Prime Minister of Canada and 2 more leaders. Remember, they caught him on tape laughing at what a buffoon of who they think Trump is. You know, when they caught him, you know, the hot mic, those particular leaders. Like he, I
just want to cut it. Just tell Jazzy to give me a call real quick. Go ahead, finish talking.
But then another thing, you know, and like Tone said, like where the country is going. You know, what I do know, which I do agree, historically in terms of both parties, we can debate about legislation and what parties it came through and throughout the history of America. But what I do know is this, because you people also judge you by your association. Like there's been no president in the United States history who has had so many criminal indicted folk.
Yes.
None in history. Around him, there has been nobody in history with as much nepotism and cronyism than this president in the history of America. And then when we're talking about the mail situation, like I think the other day he actually said, which he doesn't have the constitutional right to do, and he constantly suggests things that he hadn't had a constitutional right to do,
right?
Sending armed people to the polls.
Right.
Oh, wow.
To intimidate people from voting. No president, black, white, Democratic, independent, Republican, has ever blatantly, outwardly attempted to circumvent the Constitution. So we know, because his 4 years have been all those things. So we know moving forward, that's what we can look forward to him. So I agree, the lesser of two evils. Do we want Biden, or do we want more of what we've been getting with Donald Trump? I mean, they're polar opposites.
Well, I'm gonna try to play this video. This video has gotten so many hits, and this is a black guy. This black guy is not even, I mean, I'm gonna play a video, and there's so many people saying how intelligent this guy is in his thinking. Now he is for Trump. He's like a average guy. Let's play the video and then let's talk about what he said after this video, which we get a lot of hits. Go ahead.
I just want to say something. Just got into a beef with my best friend over some political issues. I just wish people would wake up and realize that Trump is not fighting against you. Trump is not fighting against black people. He's not fighting against Spanish people. He's not fighting against transgender. He's not fighting against Mexicans or none of that shit. Trump is fighting against globalists. Globalists don't have nothing to do with none of us. Globalists. They are people who believe in one world order, one world agenda. The bankers, the money, the movie makers. They the ones who hate Trump for a reason, because he's not their plan. He's not part of their agenda. Trump done went over there, got North Korea to put down their guns. He done squashed the beef with motherfucking Russia. He done told China to stop playing with us and pay us our money. Went to the European Union, told them that y'all owe us money, time to pay up, or y'all not gonna get no security. He done cut the guy corporate tax from 35% to 21%, making us more competitive in the global market. Black people unemployment rate is at its all-time low. Women's unemployment rate all-time low. Spanish people unemployment rate all-time low. You got jobs coming back to Pennsylvania. People pouring steel again in America that they said that we wasn't gonna never have again, and they still try to make this a black and white issue. Now is not the time for angry black people to stand up. Now is not the time for angry Mexicans to stand up. Now is not the time for transgenders to stand up. Now is the time for patriots to stand up. Patriots who love America. When I found out, it's most motherfuckers don't like America. They say America when it's all said and done at the end of the argument. It's time for patriots to stand up. I understand America got a rough history, but a lot of people died for this country that was black, who died for this country too. And you just don't love the country. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else if you don't like America, okay? Because this ain't about you. I'm black. I don't even know white people. This shit ain't even about me. This is about America. We've been losing on every fucking thing, on everybody money across the world, but nobody don't owe us shit. China stealing all our intellectual properties and selling to the rest of the world for pennies on the dollar. We losing. This man trying to stand up for the country. We can fix the rest of this shit later. First, we got to save the motherfucking ship. The ship has been sinking. You trying to put a Band-Aid on it, fix them up, save the country, then we can fix this racism shit and all this other shit I keep crying about. It's time for patriots to stand up. I'm a fucking patriot. I love America. I love the freedom that it gives me here. Yeah, we got racism issues, but that's not the biggest issue. People don't understand. Trump supporters is about one thing: America first. That means we don't want to hear about your racist shit. We want to hear about your Mexicans. We want to hear about your fucking transgenders and none of this shit. We want to talk about America first. And right now, we are winning. We are respected in the world right now. Okay, we're making money. People know not to play with us. Trump's number one job is commander-in-chief of our military. People say, oh, Trump want to start a war. Where the fuck is the war? He squashed the beef. You hear me? Squash the beef. North Korea, no, don't fuck with us no more, little rocket boy, because we will smash your ass. Take real balls to do that. She ain't playing with these people. And then they try to say he colluded with Russia. Colluded with Russia for what? For peace? We was about to go with World War III with Hillary and them. Don't y'all remember? Russia moved their air defense to Syria. America moved there to Syria. The line was drawn in the sand. We were supposed to be gone. Hillary's supposed to be the president. We supposed to set this off. It wasn't their plan for Trump to win. He may be a bigot auditor. It don't make a difference. It was not their plan for him to win. They had a plan. And now they mad as shit. So you gotta hate your mother. Wake up, patriots, stand up. This ain't a black or white thing. Stand up, God bless you.
So go now. Just listening to, I mean, obviously he said some words in it, but now listen, this video has gone viral. I mean, literally viral, where so many people. If you just got to look at the video yourself, but it's so many people agreeing with this man. They're not agreeing with him. They're agreeing with this man. So my thing is that I guess it depends on. Yeah, I see the drama that's going on. I see all the people that hate this man. I'm one of the biggest. He is an idiot. He is. He's an idiot. But see, here's the thing. I do also understand from the people that who's talking as well about the things that they don't like what Trump have done because of him being well, you want to say whatever he is, the type of guy that he is, the moves that he's made in politics, a lot of people just don't like because it's cut into some things where this man, what I feel, want to take this country back, and is a fight because there's people over here who wants to give our country away, and they're doing a heck of a job of giving our country away, and that's what they want to do. So now it depends on what you, just like giving money out. Where does that? Where the government gives out money. I mean, look what half of the Democrats was running on that ticket, giving money away.
Okay.
They were running on that ticket.
So I'll just write something down while he was talking. Like earlier when I was talking, there was just emotional whatever he was saying. So let's look at
a whole lot. It was facts.
No, I'm about to dispute it right now. So let's start with the tax cuts. The tax cuts.
Wait a minute, you can't. He's not. I can't dispute with it because he's not here. We're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. But see, he would have to be here so you can dispute with him. You see what I mean? So I can't. I'm playing the video. We could talk about it, but see, now we got to make sure. I wish he was here to debate what he's saying. I'm just playing the video back so you can hear.
Invite him on.
Yeah, right, but think about it though. When you put something, I'm not debating with him.
Obviously know what he's talking about. Because there's a lot of people who agree. He obviously know what he's talking. There's a lot of people that's agreeing with this man and saying that he gets it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question. This alone. Any one of y'all can answer this. Like people can, just because they agree doesn't mean somebody's right. Like I've been wrong in my life. People have agreed. Just because people agree with him mean he's right.
It means we share the same mind, and that's what matters in this society because that's what win elections. Who share the same mind? It don't matter if you're right or wrong. It matters who share the same rights. You know what I mean? He share the same view. You live in a capitalist society. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who's believable. See, that's the America you live in. So it doesn't matter if your stuff is right or wrong.
So with him, he mentioned all the stuff about Trump. So number one, with the tax cuts, the tax cuts has added to the debt. Like he has, under his administration, with those tax cuts, the national debt. What that man was talking about, he just said it. The guy was talking about the cuts.
He wasn't talking. He said
tax cuts, Tom. He said a Pacific. Let me go back to what he said. Well, he didn't just say tax cut. He said 35%. I wish I can go back. Well, I can play that. But the tax cuts that Trump did added to the debt. He's added more debt to than any president in history. There's no one president since George Washington that has added more debt under the presidency than him. That's number one. Number two, he mentioned about North Korea. North Korea has not disarmed. Under Trump's presidency, they have been testing long-range nuclear ballistic missiles since Trump has been the president, and he has complained about Obama under Obama. So that's happened under him. Trump, in his business, as the government, because I can't get the Emoluments Act, what he's doing is, in his presidency, he's guiding or forcing, when government employees are taking trips, are guiding them to his properties, and he's using the office of the presidency to gain funds because he's sending government people to his properties. Another thing, here's the MAGA hats. Talking about China, he didn't bring that back to the United States. They're making the MAGA hats in China. The American companies aren't doing that.
What are you talking about?
Make America Great. His hats.
What about it?
Made in China.
Okay.
Donald Trump. And he speaks a lot about.
I won't vote for him because he made tax. I don't understand what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying
what did
is,
I have to do with what he said?
the great thing about the podcast, I'm just throwing my stuff out there like everybody else. So what I'm saying is, he as the president, he's speaking about, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, America first, bringing jobs to America.
Right.
And he was getting mad at
That's
Ford.
what's happening to your
All right,
economy.
Tone, hold on. He was complaining. Let me finish, brother. He was talking about.
Telling you, that's what happened. That's what's been happening.
Right, what I'm saying, though, but he's sending jobs offshores too. That's hypocrisy. If they're making MAGA hats in China, you didn't say stop making it in China.
Doing that though.
Huh?
They've been doing that.
Tone, listen, we're talking about Trump. I ain't talking about them. The president
stop your presidency. What are you saying?
The president, do you not let me finish?
You ain't making sense since you've been talking.
No, you know why I ain't making sense to. The president of the United States,
right,
keeps preaching about Ford and people sending jobs overseas.
Right.
He has said that the people that make his hats, instead of having American companies do it, he's having them overseas.
So he's being hypocritical. In other words,
hypocrite. Come on. So you mean to tell me that I shouldn't vote for a president because he said that you shouldn't get your stuff made overseas? But by the way, I'm making my hats over there. So no, you don't qualify for presidency. That's what you said. Because
here's my thing. You put this guy out here. So first of all, because I just want to piggyback to.
Oh, he's right on point. I know he's right on point.
But one of the reasons why he's getting so much attention is because he's black.
No,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because if it was a white man saying the same thing.
Look at the video before you make that statement, though.
I did look at you. You showed us the video.
No.
That's like the young lady. That's like I can't think of her name, but there's also an African American young lady that.
Look at the comments before you make that statement.
No.
The comments is going to tell you something totally different. I don't see a black man. I hear somebody with a voice of reason. I don't see a black man.
There are so many white people saying the same thing, and I don't see them trending. Part of the reason, I'm not saying in its entirety, but part of the reason he's trending is because he is a black man. Like you said, when you first described the clip, you said this is just an average guy, but he's a black average guy. And he's with these views. That's part of the reason. So his color in and of itself is part of the reason why he's trending.
Well, I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. I don't think that he has common sense. What he's saying makes sense, and people who have common sense are pulled towards
what. Why is he trending, Tom? It's a bunch of white people saying
what he's saying. Because what he's saying.
But they're not
wait a minute. Tell me that they only listening to, or a big reason, oh my God, a big reason that they're listening to this guy is because of his skin color, not what he's saying.
Yes.
I'm saying that's right, because you have a bunch of white people that are saying the same thing, but because he looks like the dude that should be getting harassed by the police, but he's supporting Trump.
You haven't proved anything. You just saying you prove what you're saying that makes sense. Because when I go down the line and I read the comments, I don't hear him saying, you know what? I'm surprised this was a black man who said this. And because
they're not gonna.
Oh no! Why didn't you? Yes, they will say that. Yes,
okay. All right.
I deal with social media for a living. I know they will. They would. These people speak whatever on their mind. If they felt to call this guy a Negro or the other word, they would have called him that. Trust me when I tell you that. Everybody's on here that's talking. Pull it up for yourself. Read what they're saying. A lot of them are white. Obviously, they would be. So a lot of them are white, but a lot of them, nobody's saying because you black, I'm surprised. Oh, you black. They're saying what's coming out of his mouth. Yeah, maybe it benefits them, just like anything. If it benefits you, you're gonna jump on the bandwagon. So I think what he's saying is what's trending and not who he is. He's saying something that makes sense to a people, and they choose to believe what he's saying.
I don't disagree with that. You are right.
You don't disagree with that.
He is saying something that makes sense to a sector. And that's fine. I mean, that's why this is America. That's fine. I just don't think to say that. I mean, I guess other than showing him and his opinion about what he thinks Trump is doing, what's the point? Because we can find a white guy that has similar passion and can present facts.
I'm gonna be honest. I
mean, I'm just saying.
Check this out. I hope Biden wins. Just so I can put it in everybody's face. I hope he wins. In fact, I pray that he wins because that's gonna just make it's gonna make a real good podcast for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping this man wins. I hope he wins. I can't wait.
And if I can interject here too about the Kamala Harris piece and whether she's for Black issues. I totally agree with Warmack in that you can't have a candidate that's gonna run on I'm going to address Black issues. I don't understand why we have such a hard time. I don't understand why we have such a hard time with what's my man's name? He can walk and chew gum at the same time. We always feel like it's got to be either or. But it could be the same, or it could be and. You see what I'm saying? So
but you gotta stop saying. We Black folks have to stop saying. Listen, here it goes. If you didn't know, here's the news flash. It's never been about you from the beginning. The reason why you have to have listen to what I'm saying. The reason why you need somebody Black in office who represents you, because you don't have anybody in office that represents you. Now, to me, that's common sense.
You have Black people in the Senate, in the House, in local government. Yes, you do.
Oh, now, listen to what I'm saying. Sometimes I think I'm in a bad dream and I just got to wake up because of what I hear. I feel like I'm in this nightmare dream because it never makes sense. What I'm saying is this. When you make that, and this no offense, because y'all both said it, but I think that's a retarded statement. Well, I can't make that statement because I'm gonna lie. I don't think that. I don't know because of there are people who actually deal with deficiency. So my thing is that I just don't think that's a smart word to use about. We got to stop getting people or saying Black people who to be in office, and though that's all we saying, that they have to be Black. I mean, we have to wake up and know that there are smart, intelligent Black people out there who can still be smart and intelligent and still be for the Black vote. I didn't know if y'all really know that, but there is people out there who can do that. They can do both. They know how to run for the Black agenda as well as be overall a well-to-do or rounded person who can talk about topics. There's plenty of people out there like that. We just have to find them.
But the thing is, you didn't let me finish my point. My point is that until Blacks, and this is really going back to your point, until Blacks have an agenda, and not only do they have an agenda, but they put economic power and political power behind that, and we become more of a chain, like of an influence.
We know
you see what I'm saying? Then they will pay it. Then it wouldn't matter if they were Black, white, Chinese, Indian. They wouldn't pay attention to our agenda because we are a force to be reckoned with. Until we are organized, that's not going to. She could be Black and push all of her Black agenda she wants. But if we don't make a difference in how America moves, it's only going to get so far and only going to get so much attention.
But let me ask you this: do you think what are they running on that would make me vote for them? What is the agenda? What is the agenda that they're running on that is going to make someone vote for them other than because the only thing they're running to black people is let's help get Donald Trump out of office. That's the only thing that they're running on. They're running and they know you gonna come to the party because you always do. So they're running on let's get Donald Trump out of office. So that's why you should vote for me. And you take the bait and go vote for him so that somebody else can take their chance to continue sticking you where it hurts all the time. And let me know how that bank loan works for you when you go back to the bank, or let me know how all those other things work for you, because I'm gonna definitely ask you how your life has changed since this man has been president. I'm gonna ask you that. I'm gonna ask you that now.
Well, I agree, and that's what I said. Like right now, they have to. Right now, and I'm not a political campaigning type person, but it appears to me that there's a strategy to this. And so you don't come out the gate giving all your details and showing your hand. You appeal to the masses on a more sympathetic or empathetic level, which is what you're gonna, and I'll be interested in revisiting this after the Republican convention is done, because I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump is going to do the same damn thing with his supporters in terms of appealing to their hearts.
Exactly.
Later on in the debates, we will see them unveil their more detailed what they're going to do when they're in office. So I agree with you. The Democrats didn't really go into huge detail about what they're going to do, but I assure you that the Republicans aren't either. Because it's not that time. It's not time.
But see, here's the thing. And see, that's where I'm trying to get you at before we shift. That's where I'm trying to get you at, is to say that you can think that here's the thing, and maybe sometimes you got to live a little longer on the earth. I mean, like again, I'm 49, but my thing is this, right? I haven't seen neither president make a difference in my black life. Haven't seen it yet. Okay, so my thing is that what am I getting around to saying? Those presidents, a Joe Biden, a Donald Trump, is only, well, I think Donald Trump take the bar a little farther in terms of him really wanting to be take back control of this country. I really believe that he's for taking back control of this country. I do. I believe that. So I'm gonna go on record saying that. Now, I don't think that the Democratic Party is. I think the Democratic Party actually want to sell America. I just believe it. So in saying that, when I go back to in terms of our personal lives, those presidents make more sense to the white America than they do towards you. But yet you vote for them, and they're not even for you. They're not for you. I don't know how many times you're going to get it until black people wake up and understand that we need to start setting up different parties, whether it be, and matter of fact, it don't have to be Republican or Democrat, so that we can gain some leverage. Until we understand that, you are nobody, regardless of how you, now I know you might feel like you are, and sometimes, you can say, wait a minute, I make a certain amount in this economic, I'm pushing over 100,000. I got a voice, I got a college degree, you know what I mean? And I'm what they say, who that person is in terms of middle class, which there won't be a middle class after a while, but middle class. So let me go take my vote. But when you look at the ballot, you're not going to see anything that's for you. White people have it all. They have it all. What's on the ballot that's going to benefit you? Until you understand that concept, you're going to keep being in the same place that we're all in. We're just people that's taking up space in the United States of America, where black folks is just taking up space. They don't care about your vote. They can care less about your vote. You just take up space, and we need you. That's why you even been brought out of slavery. If you really want to go deep into slavery, I
just want to say, we just said the same thing. We just said the same thing. I just want to say that. You and I just said the same thing.
Yeah, because I keep saying we don't disagree.
My audio went out. My audio went out.
Yeah, we don't disagree.
Right.
All right.
Like we know either party has not worked in the best interest of black folks. Like we know that. We agree.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear y'all though for some reason.
Oh.
Let me see what's going on.
Let me see. While he's doing that, thank you, Luciana. Please forgive me if I pronounce your name incorrectly. She's been providing us with a lot of feedback. So Luciana Polney, she said, hypocrisy is everywhere. 18-year-olds are not voting if that is their choice to do so. It is what it is. Trump style, or it is what it is, according to former First Lady Obama, question mark. You are deciding whether this, my last time voting here in the USA, or whatever. I am not under arrest, and God willing, negative COVID-19 / SARS-2. She also states Stacey Abrams is going to have a career in politics. She had been an activist from day one, and the third statement she made was, I love America because of all of you. I'm assuming she's talking about all of us. And we thank you, Ms. Polney. We really appreciate it. And we love America because of you too.
That's right.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't hear you at all. So
we said we agree with you, Tom. We agree.
No, no, you don't. You know, I've listened to both of y'all statements, and I've heard you say things that maybe you don't know what you're saying. Maybe that's what
I'm saying.
We know what we're saying.
I've heard you say in terms of that you would address saying that the person that will be black, if though they don't know this, that whoever is black shouldn't just be for black people, but they should be or understand the whole country. Who says that? That's an insult. To even make that statement is an insult, because what you're saying is that these black folks should know that they're supposed to know the country and not just black agenda. So you're not saying the same thing that I'm saying, because
but even though we may split,
you're stuck in a mindset that you feel as though you have to say that black people shouldn't just be for black agenda. Who said? Why would you? I wouldn't.
Why did you put that? But you put that guy.
You should already know that. I mean, that tells you how we look at our own people, because we will make a statement to say, wait a minute, they just can't be, and I'm tired of black folks just talking about black agenda. Well, what else is they gonna say? What else are they gonna say? Because
you started out this conversation questioning Kamala Harris.
I'm not questioning her.
You okay. But you brought, so if you want to put it in that lane, that's fine. But you brought it to our discussion platform, or our platform, to discuss how black was Kamala Harris, and would she be qualified? Would she be qualified to deal with black issues?
No.
So we have to go back to the nexus of this conversation. That's how we ended up talking about someone being qualified. Matter.
But that doesn't
matter that she can address the degree to which she can address black issues, when it's important for her to be able to address all issues under America.
We don't care about all issues. We don't care about all issues.
Then why did you put up that black guy that's talking about American issues?
Wait a minute. What do you think Black Lives Matter is all about? What do you think it's about? It's not about nobody. Listen, we've been in this country too long. Some would say over 400 years. We've been in this country too long not to have our rights looked at equally that you would do a white person. Now, you may say, I'll agree with you, but in essence, you don't. Because if you did, you would have never made a statement. Both of y'all would have never made a statement to analyze another man or woman in office to say that they got to be able to function and know and understand everything else. What are you saying?
I would put out there, then you're just as foolish to think that someone who is seen as a black woman, regardless of her origins, the cops, when they see her, don't say, "Oh, you know what? Your dad is Jamaican and your mama is Indian."
No, it's people who are saying now.
No,
It's
she is
people who are,
seen in
listen,
this country as an American woman that has
no,
her
check her
lived
out. You gotta check her out. You gotta check her out.
and
Okay, can I say something? We can't.
Women out there who are crying of the things that this woman did to them. That this woman locked up black women who had kids and didn't even care about the relationship between a woman, that black woman's relationship between her and her kid, and the woman didn't even have to go to jail, allegedly. There's a lot of people who've put out their statements on this woman saying that she have never did anything for Black America whatsoever. That's what they
RW3 wanted to say. What would you want to say?
I guess my thing is more our process. Then get back to the topic. It's difficult for us to have dialogue. Like if Tone talk, we all need to listen. Once he stops, then we can talk. So if you're talking, Lovely T, we need to listen. We're talking over each other, and it's not cool.
You ain't said nothing. You've been talking.
No, I'm saying no. We're talking over each. When we're talking over each other.
Podcast. That's podcast.
Talk over each other.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's what podcast life is. That's on you. You gotta know how to stay within the realms of talking.
I come from a very talkative family, so I'm used to being at Thanksgiving dinner and having to jump in where you get in. So
You gotta jump in where you can.
I will jump in when I get in.
Definitely jump in. I'm just listening.
And Antonio, you gotta jump in when you can.
Well, this is podcast life. This is podcast life. You gotta know how to. But listen, let's digress from that topic. Let's switch to a more calmer topic, but I will go on record. I can't wait. I'm so excited for Joe Biden to be your next president. I can't wait. I mean, listen.
Why? So you can say I told you so, like a 4-year-old.
Oh, no, but you know what? You can't wait no more than we are. We excited too.
No.
I don't care. I don't care. Biden don't do nothing for me. As he gone, I don't care.
I have an agenda. I
don't care.
Hold on. And then let me go on record and say this to all people. Since Donald Trump been in office, I've made more money than I've ever made. So I don't know. I don't see the problems you see.
That's good.
Right. Yeah.
That's good. He's benefited you. That's fine.
I don't see no problem.
Okay.
My life being better. So I don't see those problems that you see. Now, I understand what he said out of his mouth because I'm not an idiot. I can hear. But in terms of touching, he has never reached out and touched me in a negative way in terms of how this government being ran. Maybe with you, but it haven't been with me. And I want somebody to tell, no, I'll leave and we'll go to the next guy. But I wish somebody would tell me what Donald Trump has done wrong personally to you in the way you do business right now. I wish somebody would just tell me that because I really want to know. But in terms of this man reaching out, touching me financially, he haven't hurt me financially. In fact, he's helped me. So in terms of why he's been in government. So I don't see what you might see. So I mean, obviously it'll be a little different. You know,
did y'all hear? Okay, and I know you said it was gonna switch, but did y'all hear like you were talking about earlier, RW3 about the hot mic? So I guess they had hot mic'd his sister, who is a judge, so credibility, and she just kept saying how he was a big liar and such a fool.
They
his
all
own sister.
They all are. All of them big liars and fools. Every last one of them are. See, this is the thing. There's nothing that anybody that can say that will surprise me with a politician. Because again, I'm 49. So there's nothing you can say or do that can surprise me, even getting me to believe that my vote counts. You can, because it's history has proven that my vote don't count. I mean, it has proven that my vote don't count. more so than it does my vote do count. So, I mean, that's on, but that's just my perspective. That's how I look at it. I mean, you may look at it different. Maybe you think your vote count, and that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But nobody have impressed me, and I'm not in the, see, I'm what you might call in this world, I'm called a free thinker. I don't allow people to build up and I only go with the crowd. I'm a free thinker. I think the way I want to think, even if it goes against the grain, because I'm a free thinker. And I think you need more free thinkers, especially in our African-American community, who buy everything and they take everything that people give them. They just like getting screwed. I mean, but I'm a free thinker. That's how it is. But we can go to the next topic. And let me say this. Don't run that game that when Tony talk, people got to listen. Because I've listened to what Robert said. I've listened to what Lovely T said a couple of times. And so, I mean, obviously I had to hear you if I can comment on it. So don't run that game like I'm the one sitting here talking and you can't get your words in. Because that's not true. So we could go to the next topic, though.
All right, Tony, you want to bring it on because it's
well,
about.
I mean, I can bring it on. No, let's go to the relationship hour.
Let's do that.
No. Okay, so yeah, we can stay there because I know what you're talking about now. Now, okay, so in this next statement, and I guess we were talking about.
It was a pop-up kind of conversation, guys.
We was talking about mail-in votes, which we didn't go there. We didn't. Everything we said had nothing to do with really mail-in votes, but we went totally somewhere else. But my thing is, but I guess we would have people comment if we didn't. We did. So here's the new statement or the next topic. And guys, before I make this statement, I don't want you to think that I'm beating up Pastor John Gray because I'm not beating up Pastor John Gray and the alleged cheating scandal. I'm not beating him up whatsoever. But what I want to talk about is even from him to I think we had a video that the producer, I don't know if she had a video to play of those three. Well, let me say this: of the three men that were in Ohio that were pastors, and he ran that sex thing for young people. It was and they all went to prison for that. It was three men. They were all pastors. And then we have Pastor John Gray, who's been accused more than one time of cheating on his significant other. And I think he's even talked about him divorcing her. But he's back in the news again of alleged cheating. And I guess what I wanted to find out, do black men, no, I'm not going to say black men, do men in general, do they hide or suppress their addiction to sex? To make it if though, well, hide and suppress, you should already know what that means. Do they hide or suppress their addiction to sex? What do you think about that? And if you know anything, let's look at this video real quick.
His life in prison after being found guilty of child sex trafficking. A judge delivered the sentence saying it's a message for those who abuse power. Blair Caldwell in the courtroom where Haynes learned his fate. Blair, what was his reaction?
Well, Christy, I can tell you, Anthony was very emotional throughout the entire sentencing. At one point, he was pleading for mercy from the judge for the sake of his family. He got so emotional, he teared up and eventually started hitting his hands on the table, thinking of what he could say to his kids in the moment, eventually uttering, "Daddy loves you no matter what." But they had to hear that sentence of life in prison from Judge Bernard Friedman. Haynes was arrested back in April of 2017, and courtroom testimony from his trial in March showed he had sex with a minor in his custody and introduced her to other local pastors who also engaged in sexual activity. Judge Friedman says this case is disgusting, hard to believe, and unlike anything he's seen. He says this sentence
we can cut it right there.
Predators
actually hear the whole thing. I wish we had something up there of the Pastor John Gray, but we don't have any. We have other people talking about what happened with him. But I guess I want to go into that thing that's driving all of these different people. It seems like when they get in leadership, you just see a little bit more of it. Just like you had, I believe it was, I want to say Barry Sanders. I forget who made that statement. He said, if you were before you were a millionaire, when you become a millionaire, you just become a millionaire with a sex addiction. If you had it, if you had it before you became a millionaire, you became a millionaire with that same addiction, with more chances or options to do more to feed that addiction, whether it's through alcoholism, whether it's through sex addiction. What do we think about that? Because there's a lot of men and I understand you even have something called predators. Men be predators where they get in positions of leadership so that they can prey on women that they normally couldn't get So what do we think about that? And what we're hearing about these pastors getting in trouble, whether it's through their marriage or whether it's through breaking the law, but it always come back to sex to some degree.
Wow, that's deep.
And I think it's funny you said that, Tone, because I think power, like you said, power, is so addictive, and the things that you can garner from the power. Because when you think about like rape is not about the sex; it's about the power. And I think that, and I had read that somewhere, someone that said that if you're an idiot, you're just going to be a rich idiot. Like you said, if you have a sexual addiction, you're just going to be a rich sexual, addict. So I think, when him specifically, like you said, allegedly, when I was looking at the video, the individual, he had his lawyers and everything because he's been denying. I think he may have suggested it was an emotional relationship, and somebody had provided this particular person with pictures of his clothes, receipts in the hotel, all the things besides actually watching him being in the bed with this particular woman. Everything was in place in terms of evidence that this particular person had. That's why the pastor is not suing the guy, because all the stuff he had is, evidence besides actually seeing the two people, in the bed. So,
wasn't she a minor?
Huh?
Was she a minor?
Well, she was a minor. Yeah, she was definitely a minor. And that's it. But this is the thing. I guess I'm trying to not focus on the crime, but I'm more focusing on the sex part of it. Okay, now I hear.
Well, see, for me, the sex, and I'll let you know. But for me, the sex, to me, a molester is a little different. Like sex would be the umbrella, if you will. But to me, someone who preys on underage women, girls, boys, underage people is a different level of sickness than someone who may be addicted to adult porn or sex in general, because sex with consenting adults. So that's to me, that's a different category. Someone who's addicted to consensual sex than someone who preys and basically rapes someone. That's two different things.
Well,
so when you say sex, are you saying someone who's addicted to consensual sex or just all of it?
I'm talking about sex in general, the raw version of I'm horny and I wanna have sex when I want to have sex, and it don't matter about the setup, the situation. R.
Kelly, for example, only dealt with women who were underage. So it's not so much that he was rich and he just had an addiction to sex, but it was consensual sex with consenting adults. He went
but it
specifically
also
after underage girls.
But it also talks about he has some issues in his past. I don't know if you guys heard about that with his sister or something molesting him as a child. So, you know, these are like some deep rooted issues. Like when men, I think in general, have these sex issues or sex addictions or whatever it might be. It's some type of deep rooted issue, whether it's from childhood, whether it's from it could be a number of things or whatever. So it's like it's always a root to everything, you know.
So let me ask this question. Okay, so and let me go this route. Let me go down this route. Okay, so I think that it came up. I don't know. I think it was Robert who said something about rape is about control. Okay, so now
or power.
Is that always the same in every rape case? Is that always the same in every rape case to say that is about control and not just about I don't have control over different things that I do in terms of my sexual emotions? Meaning that if I want to be with this person and I think this person is hot, and I've been analyzing her body for a little while. I've been looking at this girl, and I know she don't. You know, I'm not even going to try to talk to her. I'm just going to take it. You know what I mean? So
I think that, and again, you know, this is kind of my area, but I don't want to dominate the but
I want you to say, I want you to talk about what it is that you do know concerning this situation.
That's what I'm right. So statistically, even in that situation, that person feels like because they have those desires, they have a right to take. And that's where the power and control comes into play. Statistically speaking, most men, we call them the undetected rapists. Most undetected rapists are undetected because they have wives, they have girlfriends. Most of them, when they were interviewed, said it was not their body that they were attracted to. It wasn't necessarily a physical attraction as to why they did what they did. So research and facts and statistics have shown that most men, and I'm not going to say that what you're saying absolutely doesn't exist, because there can always be an outlier, but mainly the reason why a person rapes is because they can. It's because they can. It's because they feel they have a right, because everything in society has built this person up, instructed this person, reinforced to this person that because they hold this certain position in society, they have a right to take what they want.
Okay, so now I'm glad you brought that up, right? Okay, so I can't put this person's name out there that I want. This person is a Christian psychiatrist. Okay, Christian psychiatrist. Now he says just the opposite. Says just totally opposite. And he talked about why some people rape. I can't put all of them in the group. I don't think nobody really can, to be honest. But because you really don't know what the intent is, you can only go by a record of what people say, and then you follow that, just like what this guy said, what I'm about to say. Okay, so he made the analogy that if you have a next door neighbor and you've been looking at that next door neighbor for the longest, you've been noticing this next door neighbor. In other words, you become a predator. You're looking at them. You're looking at what time she come home, what time she go to bed. If you can peek in on her, you peek in on her. You might even go to the degree where pornographic thoughts are forming in your head about this person. So now it's done it so much where now it's all about just acting it out. But I've done it, and I've been so intensely involved in my imagination about this person that I finally just acted out. Now, this is what the guy told me. He said, what makes a person dangerous is not the fact that they think of the thought, but the fact that they actually acted out. See what I mean? So we all, every last one of us on this panel, have had some type of thought, and it even could be illegal. But the thing is that you didn't act it out. You kept yourself from acting out. Now a lot of people don't know. That's actually biblically sound. Whatever a man thinking in his heart, you know what I mean? About he can become, well, he is that person if he acted out. He's already acted it out. That's why the Bible talks about if you lusted after a person in your own heart, you've already committed the act. Now it's just you just doing it. So I guess in my mindset, I don't really, now, again, I do understand that there's people who want control and that's what they do. And I do know those people exist. But I wouldn't put them all in the same bandwagon to say that that's the only reason why they acted.
That's why we say power and control, because what did the psychiatrist suggest that makes the person that acts on it and the person that doesn't different? What is the difference in the mindset? Because like you said, there are plenty of people that see an attractive person and may have a fantasy about that person, or may have an urge to want to do something sexual with that person, but they have enough going on in their executive functioning part of their brain that says, I just can't go and take it. But for some, they act on that impulse. So was he suggesting that those people were somehow cognitively impaired? Was he suggesting that there was something neurologically that is different about their brain? Like, what did he give as the answer?
And this what makes it about power, even in that instant. In my life, I have, all my life I've seen women, oh, she's sexy, she's attractive. You're right, Tone. In my mind, I probably undressed this woman and everything. But what separates me and you, Tone, from that person, you and I have come to the conclusion, we don't have the power to take it.
Right.
That's what separates me and you. That person has gotten in mind, oh, I have the power to take this sex or take this pudding thing from this woman. That's what separates me and you from that person.
Is it? But is it really? Is that
because me and you didn't act on raping anybody.
What I'm saying, is it that or is it fear? What listen to what I'm saying.
Or self-control.
My mindset is that, like, if you look at different military people who went over the countries and they raped women, you know what I mean? Because they have, again, like you would say, the power and the authority, but that's not, it's one of the forces, but it's not the main force. Because if I can sexually sustain myself and take control over my faculties, then I wouldn't necessarily go sleep or rape this person if I have control over my being of who I am. But now if I've been doing something for so long, it's almost like if you go out and get something to eat, or you're hungry for something, or maybe you shouldn't be eating something, but you see it so much and it looks so good and it's so enticing now that you just go and act out on it. You just go because it satisfies everything that's within you, not the fact that you can go buy it, the fact that you want it because of the way it tastes. So
I get your point, but that's why I asked, like, are we talking about people who are addicted to sex, but with consensual partners? Because that's different.
Well, okay, so my thing is this. I don't know biblically if it's different. But I do know that there is a difference between lusting after a person and some kind of power trip because of what went on in your past, or somebody told you no, or you just hated women, so you acted it out. I can't define that because I don't know how to define that. Every situation is different. But I'm saying in terms of men suppressing the fact that they have a lust that they don't control. You know what I mean? So when
I know, Antonio, you talked about like the pornography thing, like where a lot of men, is caught up in pornography even from a very young age. So how would that step in? What would be like more of the deep rooted thing of that? Because if we had a panel of men up here, probably all of them would say, yes, I've been in that and I'm still in that, or I was in that, or whatever. So what would stem to make starting off as a young boy to get involved in that?
Well, see, even for me, and I'll get into my life, but before I go there, my thing is that, when you, and I'm just throwing out information now, when you know that you deal, I'm specifically talking about lust. I'm not talking about your behavior and what happened to your mama and all that caused you to happen and do whatever you doing. I still believe to some degree that those are excuses as well. Now, but that's just my opinion. But my thing is this, okay? I'm saying that when I was first turned on to porn, I don't know, I can't remember, I don't want to put people out there because I ain't trying to nobody go to jail, or they say, oh, they was unfit. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw it out there. I was a young guy. I seen it in the house. You see what I mean? I was curious and put the tape in. You see what I mean? And boom, blew my mind. Like, what is this? At a young age, you get what I mean? And I like what I saw. You get what I mean? I like what I saw. It was something that was, what's that word? What is that word? Titillating?
Oh, stimulating?
No, it was another word. But anyway,
tantalizing.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. It was a little turn on to the degree to say, oh wow, this is pretty cool right here. You get what I mean? And now I wanted to pursue it even more, watch more porn. I mean, we're talking about 15. See what I mean? Watching this at a young age. And now, remind you now, mine was a big old tape that you put in, that big old tape player, where kids now have phones at their fingertip. All they got to do is just dial it in. Just type in the name. And I don't want to give no information. I don't want to just push it out. All I'm saying is that was the down spiral for me of not respecting women as women. But the first thing I seen when I seen that woman was her physical body because of what I played around in. You know what I mean? So I didn't have time to understand what your mind was about. I just wanted your body, because I was caught into that world, never not knowing that that's a problem. You know what I mean? To look at this person as a human being and not as a piece of meat. You know what I mean? Or a piece of pleasure. So I grew up with that mindset. And I guess you don't look at it as an issue, but it really is an issue. So now it just grows. You know what I mean? Then I start buying, when I got married, buying DVDs and like I said in my other statement, well, the place that we lived in the basement, it was a place that people didn't come in this area, so I knew how to hide those DVDs, and when I wanted to look at them, put it in. You know what I mean? But didn't look at it as a problem. I guess that's where I'm going at. Didn't look at it as you're disrespecting women. You're looking at women, and even though they the ones that's doing the shooting, but you looking at these women in a different way now. You're looking at them only as sexual beings, not as human beings. This one guy told me, he said, he was like, well, when you look at women from now on, don't look at the woman like a sexual being. Look at her as your sister when you look at her. When you see that woman walk up the street, in your mind, look at her as your sister and not as someone that you want to be with. You get what I mean? And then see how that, I couldn't even form that in my head. You know what I mean?
So did you feel like so again, like there are those that can smoke marijuana, but don't necessarily get addicted. Did you feel like you were at a point where it was an addiction for you? And if so, how did you break it?
Well, now here's the thing. An addiction. See, that's where we at as men. See, that's where it comes to this point in your life where you don't want to call that an addiction. You know what I mean? You want to look at it as just a natural reaction. A natural reaction is something that I go through. I'm a man, and this is what men do. You know what I mean? Whether it's in an abusive way or not, you just look at it as just some guys do. You know what I mean?
Did it disrupt your daily life or cause problems in your marriage?
No, well, we get down that line because I'm trying to save a little bit. I don't want to jump into it so fast. We're gonna go down that road.
Okay.
But my thing is what I'm saying is that I guess I'm trying to address other men as well.
Yeah.
And I guess that could easily be me. And that mindset that I had at that time, because it was something that I didn't see that was actually affecting my life. You get what I mean? Because I guess I wanted it to be a part of my life. You get what I mean?
Do y'all know what the average age is for pornography exposure? The first exposure to pornography. Do you know what the average age is?
I don't know, but I believe it's really young.
Yeah, I really believe it's young.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not
8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause even at a young age, I used to look at the magazines, like the J.C. Penney magazines, the panty area, the bra section. When I was a kid, I used to look at them areas. I turn the page and look at that. I mean, I was a. Listen here. Now here's the thing. Listen to the topic listen to the statement that I'm gonna make. I was a growing, healthy boy. You get what I mean? See, that's the mindset that's pushed out to us. I was a healthy young man to look at a woman magazine and look at those areas. And guess what else I could throw out? Well, at least I know I ain't gay. You get what I mean? So those are statements.
Well, and again, Tom, this is what I was speaking to earlier when I talked about how everything in society instructs you, reinforces, teaches, rewards you for thinking that seeing a woman as an object, a sexual object, that is okay, is the norm for male thinking. Everything you saying is a perfect example of what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because you were probably rewarded. You were able to go to your boys and be like, yeah, or like you said, at least I'm not gay, or everything in society kind of supported.
But scientifically though, you got the societal part, but without, and this is getting away from chemicals, the most pleasure in what's naturally reinforced with the dopamine neurotransmitter, like kind of Tone is saying, is through sex and an orgasm. And that's not even societal. That's naturally in our brain.
Right.
That is reinforced naturally the most pleasure because it's necessary for sustainable for life, for procreation, that even with all that going on, we're going to have that in us without society saying anything, because that's the most we can get without any chemical dependency or chemical intervention. That having that orgasm give us the most pleasure and neurotransmitters because that's necessary for the continuation of humanity. So that is in us regardless, scientifically.
Right. Exactly.
But not having a woman bent over saying, how she's usually presented in a porn is not a part of the biological makeup.
But like Tom said, like you can have somebody, with us, she could be like just walking down the street.
But I guess my thing is that the word that I will look for is endorphins, because after you have a sexual experience, that's what's released. Those endorphins where it relaxes you, make you feel more confident, all of that stuff. But I guess what I'm saying is that how many men have misplaced they started off with back in the day hanging out, trying to see how many females they can holler at one time, as long as they keep the woman safe, comfortable at the house, probably throw a couple of lies, throw her something, I can still step out on her. That mindset is a normal mindset in this society where it get misdiagnosed because it's the norm. So now you have men who can't get it together. Like, and again, I'm not saying that this pastor allegedly, I'm saying these situations begin to happen. I think somebody made a statement that said that this guy was trying to talk to women because he couldn't talk to those women back in the day because of the way he looked. So now he's trying to go after all of the women because of the power or the money that he has to say that, hey, now you want me. Jay-Z is another one. Jay-Z is another. I mean, it's a lot of these guys out here. I mean, I don't know if they can pull women or not, but all I'm saying is this. Okay, so with me, it started off with that DVD. I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. That experience that I shared with me and my private, I don't know, that life that I shared. You know what I mean? But my thing is that after a while, it left just that. Now is the hunt for it, meaning going out here, hanging out, meeting different women, agendas all twisted up. I'll lie, tell you I love you. That's what they wanted to hear when I was growing up. Famous word is I love you, and women actually bought that bull crap, and that was a way to sleep with you. They even put it in the movie Boys in the Hood. I don't know if y'all remember the part where, what was my man name?
Cuba. You know, we be fighting. You're like, no.
Yeah. No, but remember the time that he was at the house, or he was on the porch, and he was trying to get old girl to sleep with him. Yeah. And well, we gonna be married anyway. Technically, the games that you play because you just trying to get in.
Is it a big game? What was it like? Is it like a big game that a lot of men?
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's a psychological game.
Tom broke it down pretty good because at a time in our lives, like you said, it's the hunt. I mean, we would plot out. I was thinking all these years when I was in the Navy, we would plot out we'd be at work all day on the ship, figuring out when we get off, talking about the hunt. That was our whole strategy, the hunt. We're gonna go into projects in Virginia and do this. We're gonna go to this club and do this. This is how we're gonna do this and manipulate and maneuver that. Like Tone said, we plotted out the hunt.
I would just say, the only thing I'm saying is that part of it is socialization and not biology.
Okay.
Because that is attributed to me your role of what a male is supposed to do, or what a male like that. You're saying like y'all got together and it was the hunt because this is what men do.
But listen to this though.
We hunt the woman. That's not a biological response.
But check this out, lovely T.
He wanted King David even wanted what's his name's wife. What was her name?
Bathsheba.
Yeah. So he actually, was that biologically or was that?
He wanted it so bad that he would kill off this man's. He would kill off this man's. That's how bad he was.
That's
to the battle to get him killed.
What's that rapper? What's she calling her video? What?
But you know what? Listen to this, lovely T. Listen, though. I argue it is biological because what you're doing is you're separating the journey because ultimately we're trying to get to that biological function.
Yeah.
So either be it through the hunt route or through the, hey, I want to get to know you, let's have a relationship, whatever the case may be, both ending.
But the difference, that's the difference. So RW3, the difference is when you see a woman as more than a sexual object, you do stop and say, hey, let me get to know you. I mean, yes, ultimately getting between her legs may be one of those goals, but you also are going to do it in a way that respects all of who she is versus let me hunt this person to get what I want to get. You're treating that person like they're an object or
But she
freaking
Lovely
animal
T, Lovely
in
T,
the woods waiting to
Lovely
get
T,
got.
Lovely T. She wants that too because she's part of the hunt. That's what she wants. Because at the end, if she didn't want it, she wouldn't do it.
Oh my God.
Okay, hold on. But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing, right? In terms of me and what am I doing? I'm trying to address the fact that there are men out there, and such as the men that we've just shown, who've actually or who have a problem and they just don't want to admit it, that they have a problem. Anytime you constantly keep cheating on your wife and you finding yourself back in the same place, there is a problem that you never addressed it before you got married. And see, here's the thing. With me, I've never addressed it, my problem. I just got married. I'm married in with that problem. You get what I mean? Of whatever you might want to call it. I don't know if I'll call it addicted to porn because it started that way. You get what I mean? But it branched out on music videos as a young person, looking at the woman walking up the street and how you should holler at her. Now, here it go. Then it made it where I didn't want to grow up. I didn't want to grow up as a man because I enjoyed that lifestyle as a freak or trick, whatever you want to call it. I enjoy that lifestyle. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. But listen, I had the money to be a trick. You get what I mean? So that's
it was a lifestyle. A lifestyle fits a certain role.
Exactly.
In society, yes.
Exactly. So here it goes.
Biology.
You get into a marriage, the porn probably even turned up now. You know what I mean? You probably watching a little bit more of it, and then you hanging around guys that don't have those things in common with you if they were married. You get what I mean? So what I mean, let me clean that up. Okay, so I've talked to guys, and the guys that I ran with, they were married. They were married guys. So it wasn't a thing where they were just single guys. They were married men, thought the same way I thought. You know what I mean? About there's a whole world out there full of women out here just about you just not getting caught. You get what I mean? When you throw it in. So my thing is that my life spiraled down because I didn't want to grow up as being a responsible person. You know what I mean? I wanted to be this person to still say that I still got it, quote unquote. I mean, this time of my life, I think I was buying probably, I had so many tennis shoes. I mean, I lived my life as a young person. I bought so many clothes. I mean, I love clothes anyway, but I bought so many more tennis shoes. I mean, just so I could go be one of the guys, just to get that hit, right? So now get married. Number one thing that men should stay out, at least married men, you should stay out of strip clubs. I didn't. You should. You know what I'm saying? I didn't stay out of strip clubs. I was in strip clubs running with my cousins there at that time when we did go, or just running by myself. I mean, going to strip clubs, paying for that. Then it leads to other things.
But you going there and get you some food, Tom?
Huh?
Is that the excuse you would use? RW3?
Because go get you some food. Because a lot of times they got good food.
Yeah, that's true. Lady B, obviously that was the excuse RW3 used. Right?
That wasn't my excuse. My excuse was I was full of lust. I wanted to see some big booties, and I had a couple of dollars to throw it at her. I know that's my wife right there, but she know how I talk. I just be straight up with mine. I wanted to see some big booties, boom, boom, boom. So I threw my money on the table. You know what I mean? And running with the wrong people.
You know what? They made a movie about that. It was called Baby Boy.
Yeah, Baby Boy. Exactly. Didn't want to grow up. And that was me. I didn't want to grow up until I'm about to go there or what made me wake up. You know, but that lifestyle started with porn. You get what I mean? It started in the area like you got a lot of guys out here now. It started with whatever it started with them. And you know it becomes a problem. You know, everybody in their life know if something's becoming a problem, because you know it just keep coming back. It just keep coming back and addressing its ugly head. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what it is. It's ugly head. and then it caused me to cheat on my wife. You know what I mean? It caused me to cheat on my wife. It wasn't nothing for me to go somewhere and get compliments based on what was going on with me and me being the kind of guy that I was in that mindset. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't that I didn't love my wife. It just that I had an issue that I didn't want to take control of. You know what I mean? I had something that I was dealing with, and it wasn't. I went around women, and oh, it's gonna be okay. Take these drugs, and it's because you deal with. No, it was because I was a freak, straight up a freak. That's what it was. I was a freak. That's what it was. It wasn't anything else but just what I just said. Because I knew what home was. I knew that I had a good wife. Maybe that could have been another piece of it. I knew
you had either. I think I could be wrong, but obviously you had some type of exposure that developed a moral compass. And like you said, even though you were choosing at that time as a young adult to remain in arrested development, you still knew that there was another side, that you could be better. Because someone was instilling that or had instilled that in you.
Exactly.
And that created, when you were ready for it, that created an out that you knew was there and waiting for you.
But I think that to some degree, especially when I stop and talk about pastors, I believe that they all had that compass. I believe that they all had that where they knew that they were doing wrong. You know what I mean? Because I knew I was doing wrong. But here, my thing was the addiction I felt that could have came on of me believing that I can't stop. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this something that's become a part of me. And it is me now. You get what I mean? But I never forget, I talked to a minister because I was talking to people. I wasn't talking to my wife, but I was talking to people because I knew this was the problem. So I called one of the guys up and he said, you're going to have to tell your wife, right? That was the last thing I wanted to hear. He said, you're going to have to tell your wife what you did, that you cheated on her. You're going to have to tell her. And I didn't want to hear that. Who want to hear that? You know what I mean? Because I've talked to some guys, pastors, that say, don't tell your wife, just don't do it no more. You know what I mean? Just don't do it. And he said, you're going to have to tell her. I'll never forget the day I told my wife, who was upstairs in the bed. I think it was going on a Sunday. It was during the night. And I know I heard her, obviously. And I told her. I told her because I wanted to get past that out of my life. I wanted to get that out of my life. And I knew what could have happened. She could have left. You get what I mean? But she chose to stay in that relationship of me being or saying what I had to say. But now here's the thing. Here's what it come down with. And if I don't get it right, I still would struggle with it. You know what I mean? If I don't have a hand on it, I still would struggle with that because I chose not to have a handle on it, to look at and view women in a different lens. You get what I mean? So I had to take the approach to say that that's a selfish act. See, and here it goes. When I know that I care about somebody, that I know that I can't be selfish where I forget that other person's emotions or feelings and just deal with what satisfies me. A lot of times we wash it up and we clinical, we give it a name and we say this, and it's, to some degree, it's just down where you're just a selfish individual. You don't care about anybody else but yourself. And when you get past that area where you say that there's other people that loves you and you're supposed to love other people who have emotions and they experience life just like you do, you will know that you can say that I don't want to go into this relationship just thinking about me. You know what I mean? And just hurting the other person because it pleases me. I don't care that it hurts you. You know what I mean? All I care is that I'm being pleased. And I mean, it satisfies me. And I had to get to that place in my life to say, well, this should be a thing where you shouldn't want to do this anymore because it hurt other people. It's not just you anymore. It's going to hurt somebody else if you were to continue doing this. I mean, and I guess obviously God had a lot to play with there because that's what got me to there to understand that I was being selfish. You know what I mean? It was a God complex as well, but I know I needed to not be this person anymore. And I self-diagnosed myself as saying that you being selfish. All you care about is you. You don't care about who it hurts or down the line is that it pleases you. And is that enough to be married? No, it's not. You should not be married if you're selfish. You know what I mean? You should be by yourself if you're selfish and just deal with you. You know what I mean? And that's when I had to come to that conclusion of saying.
And I appreciate you being, I know it's you. But I appreciate you being so candid and being willing to share your story and put it out there, Tone. But I, that your story, if you were to ask someone who was afflicted with other kinds of addiction, you would hear a similar thread in their story. Yeah. Because the answer and the motivation has to come within your own context. Like you said, for you, it was thinking about the fact that your acts were selfish. For someone who's addicted to alcohol or drug, those who try to go through some stage or some level of recovery, they have to find within their own context, within their own world, what is, you had some kind of dissonance within you, because at the point that you were comfortable, but something started agitating you. Something started saying, I'm not fully comfortable with this anymore. And like you said, it was the fact that maybe, like you say, maybe it was seeing how you were hurting your wife. Something began to say to you, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. And that feeling got larger and larger and larger. And like you said, you were able to self-diagnose it, you were able to label it, and then you could attack it and choose to go a different route. That's right. No different for people who are in an addiction. When they're comfortable with it, they're not trying to stop. But it's at that point that they begin to have this inner argument with themselves, that they begin to search out for, well, why am I like this? Or is it possible for me to change? Or what do I need to, do I need to get help? Whatever it may be. So I don't think that, your experience is an isolated incident in terms of how you got to the point of recognizing that it was a problem and it needed to be changed.
Yeah, but I guess that there's men out there, and when I looked at this guy, this Pastor John Gray, I looked at, I don't know him personally, obviously, and again, this could be allegedly. I will constantly throw that out there, even if it's not, I don't know, but allegedly, when you constantly keep running into this same path, on the same path of right. Just hitting your head with these women out here, you need to go back and address like what's really going on. What I didn't deal with some things that was in my past. This now is still plaguing my future. You know what I mean? I'm still at it. I'm still doing this. And I guess sometimes we gotta take a hard look. And then when you behind the pulpit and you ministering the word, and you're trying to help people with their issues, you know what I mean? And they're looking at you or looking towards you for hope. You know what I mean? Because like they say, I'll follow you as you follow Christ. You get what I mean? And these men are misleading. They're being misleading. And again, allegedly, I don't know, but I am saying that it's time to look back at you. It's not divorce. Divorce is really not the answer, because you just right. Into another relationship to do the same thing. Is really just taking a hard look at self to say, well, you know what? that which they said it was okay for men to do, or men get a pass, maybe that's not true. Maybe I really need to analyze this to say, well, you know what, that's a problem right there, because it keeps coming back, and I'm not looking at this woman. When I'm on the phone, if you're on the phone and you talking to a woman and you know in your mindset that's more of, you get what I mean? I really want to just say the right words. I don't really care what I'm saying, as long as it's the right word, you know what I mean? So that I can do whatever it is I need to do. Then it's a problem. It is a problem. You're preying on sleeping with this person. And I just think that men need to deal with those issues before they even get into a relationship, whether it's dating or marriage, because there's a problem that could even go farther when you get into that relationship, and now you're hurting other people.
And you know what, Tom, what the thing about it, like you were saying, and Lovely T mentioned, some things are so just the social learning where things just seem natural and just who we are. It doesn't, walking in it for so long, it doesn't seem like a problem. So It's hard for somebody to address something when they don't think it's a problem. Like, it makes sense, like you said, Tom, talking to married guys, it makes sense that, hey, I'm married, I'm at the strip club, they lap dance me, I'm lusting, I done cheated, then, okay, babe, forgive me, then I'm back in the strip club and think I'm not gonna have the same issues. In their mind, that's not a problem as long as I'm coming home to my wife every night.
Right. And see, I think that men just need to address these issues and look at them, and just look at them. Take a look at them. You know, if you out there and you are married and you cheating. I mean, that's what you're doing. Just take a look at that. See if that's normal. I mean, I know to some degree you might think it is because you feel like, oh man, everybody cheat. Because there's a thing out there that says that all men cheat. You know, that's what people say. They say all men cheat or have cheated. You know what I mean? And I don't believe that that's true. Or they'll say once a cheater, always a cheater.
Right. Yeah, anytime you're using words like always, never, it's probably not right. You know, because you're talking in absolutes. And until this world makes two people exactly the same, you are more than likely not going to get an exact outcome of two different people. So using absolute language is a danger zone.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, guys, that's what the topic was. You know, what time is it? I mean, if y'all want to, it's 6:42. I guess we can talk till 7 and just throw this last thing up here. And it says, I think it was men. Do men really like independent women? I guess that was the next topic. Do men really like independent women? And
where is Lady B?
I don't know. She just.
But you know what though? This right up your alley. So you can. You can be 1 to 20 guys, and you'll be just fine, Lovely T, in this particular area. So since Tone threw it out there, could you please lead in with your thoughts and assessment, Lovely T, please?
Okay. So I just want to say this because we didn't really tap into it, Tone. I do appreciate you bringing up the topic, and maybe in another podcast we can talk about it a little more in terms of men who have been molested, and how that untreated does play out in their lifespan. Because just as a victim of a female or a male of molestation does have a very devastating impact on that person mentally, physically, spiritually. Like it is a devastating impact. And because of the social norms of men, it's not as easy for them to come out and say, number one, that it even happened to them, and 2, go get help for it, you know, because that means that they have to, you know, relive the trauma or admit that, you know, there's this belief that there was some weakness and therefore, as a man, you can't be weak. So how can I go to somebody and say that this even happened to me? So it goes untreated, and it does play out. It does absolutely play out in men as they grow up into adults. We don't have to dive into that today.
I was wondering, look like you was about to take that to 7 o'clock, but you said that's the next podcast. So could you please comment on the independent woman? Because you was about to go on that to 8 o'clock. And it was going to be another podcast.
Well, what about it? Do men like it? I mean, actually, you guys have to tell me because
what's been your experience? Because like you've been independent for a while. What's your experience?
My experience is that men say they want an independent woman, but I truly believe men are okay with a woman being independent out in the world because they want to know that no other man is going to be able to step to them, that they're strong enough to hold their own as a lady and not be, tampered with or whatever. So in that regard, men want a woman to be independent. But when she come home, she better submit because it's going to be a problem. So women who are highly successful, who are highly opinionated, rarely have a man or in a committed relationship because I don't think y'all honestly like that. I really don't.
Can I ask you a question? Speak to this before I jump in. Do you, based on what you said, do you subscribe to the fact that leaving your corporate person outside of the home and you coming in and being submissive? Or do you think, how do you personally feel about that? Or should you bring that independence all into the house? What is your personal opinion?
See how you labeling it?
What's your personal opinion?
If a woman is genuinely and authentically an independent woman, then that's who she is, RW3. It doesn't matter if she's out in the world. Like, she can have a corporate role where she's dialed it up, okay? But when she comes home, I don't think that there's necessarily an off switch. She can dial it down, but I don't think if that's who she really is, there's going to be an off switch to that unless she's like, I mean, it could be, but I think that would be very, I think that that's a rarity.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. I know men that used to be married that are not married now who would tell you that they rather have an independent woman due to them being married. So I think it depends on which, like me, God forbid, but if me and my wife was to ever separate, I would never want a woman to depend on me. I would want her to be a dependable woman where she could take care of her own self. So now let me say this though. To me, independent is not based on someone basically taking care of you. I don't call that independent. That's not what independency. Independent means that you have your own mind and you think for yourself, and I don't have to instruct you on everything to do. That's what independency means to me. Because sometimes you could just have less money. You get what I mean? And I got more money, you got less. So I help say I'm not really tripping in that area. But if you were to ask a lot of the single guys that I know who used to be married, they not tripping. They want, some of them want them to have their own house. You have your house and you just come over here because they done went through the married thing. And I think more married men, a lot of times, depending on how long they've been married, they become more mature in another relationship based on their own personal experiences of being with someone. So,
if you're an alpha male, and again, this is just, I'm not speaking for all women, but if you're an alpha male, you will have you still have those power dynamics in a relationship. So when a woman is of her own opinion and her own thoughts and don't need you, you know, she's more willing to freely express those things. Like, who gets the last word? If you're an alpha male, you're used to being the one that gets the last word, that gets the final say, that gets, you know what I mean? And in a situation where a woman is independent, you're going to have that power struggle. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's not a workable situation, but that power struggle will exist because she's not going to easily just be like, okay, honey. She's going to be like, no, this is the reason and this is why. No, I won't shut up. No, you shut up. I mean, and I could be.
Well, I mean, in that area, I think to me, being in a relationship, there is things that grounds that you touch, and then there's some that you just stay away from because you know where it'll lead to. Now, I had to learn that the hard way, you know what I mean, in my relationship. But I guess as I got older, I think that, well, I guess older and experience grew that area where I can say that I became more of a man that don't need you to agree with me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not tripping in that. It's just a lot of headaches in that. I'm more of a guy now that let me do me, you do you. As long as, you know, hey, when I'm home, you know what I mean? We go chill together, but give me my time and I'm going to give you your time. That's the kind of person I am now. If you go out and hang out, long as, you know what I mean, we can touch base on each other. Hey, I mean, just say, hey, you all right out there? Yeah, okay. I'm cool because I'm in my relationship, and if I trust you, then I'm more cool. You get what I mean? So, but that independency of you having your own money, your own bank account, I'm cool with that. I'm so cool with that. It ain't even funny because if I need to go and do what I need to do, I need to go and do what I need to do. You do you, I do me. But as long as we love one another and we respect one another, you know what I mean? And that's, to me, that defined line, that respect. You know what I mean? I don't care how independent you are. You could be just as long as we don't disrespect each other. You know what I mean? Because I really want you to have your own. You know what I mean? It's less headaches for me.
I just think that regardless as to how independent a woman is, in order to have a successful relationship, she still has to allow her man to be the head of the household. I mean, and there might be. I did run into a woman who said, you know, and they had a very egalitarian marriage, and so, you know, I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I think particularly in the African American culture, that regardless as to how independent and fierce she is, I think in order for that relationship to work, she's gonna have to let the man be the head of the household.
I think so. That's true. I think that's true. To some men, I'm one of them. I'm definitely one of them. I still want to be the head of my household. You know what I mean? That's 100% with me. But it's a respect thing. You know what I mean? Is a respect thing within that. It's not just say I'm the head of the household. There's some respect that you have to earn to make that happen. And to some independent women, when they first get into a relationship, that's something that's just going to have to, I don't know if it's going to get fought out or you're going to just get jaded. You get what I mean? And then just give it over. You know what I mean? But yeah, with me, that's I got to let me be the head of the household. And that doesn't mean me ruling over you. Don't mean that. But it does mean let me be able to look at some things and evaluate them, and then we talk about it as a family. You see what I mean? So it's a little funny in that area. You know what I mean?
So RW3, you was locked and loaded. What's up? What you got to say?
I was locked and loaded.
You were locked and loaded. You was ready to fire off. So what you got to say?
No, I wasn't ready to fire off, but.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Well, RW3, what's your opinion? Because we're close to time.
I think, you know, when it comes to an independent woman, my experiences have said to me that sometimes they would exert that independency, but they still want the benefits tone of traditional man expectations. For example, I want to exert my independence until when it's time for, hey, honey, open the door for me. She wants to exert her independence until we pull up at the gas station and I'm getting out pumping the gas. She wants to exert her independence. Hey, honey, both our cars in the driveway, mine has a flat. So either you go out and change your car AAA, then I'm going to get in your car and you figure out what's going on with the car that has the flat. Or, honey, we are together in the home. I'm independent until all that snow is out there and somebody might have to jump out there in that snow. I'm independent until it's all them leaves out there. She might get out there and say, what's going on with them leaves? Or she's independent until the pipes break and I got to figure out, to get the plumber and things of that nature. So that's been my experience when it comes to those things. And in those experiences, mind you, either you're going to be independent or we're going to embrace some traditional roles in the home.
But I'm going to use your words. I feel like you're conflating two different ideas. You're talking about just because I'm a woman, I can't expect my man who is, if he is knowledgeable on how to, let's say, fix computers. Just because I'm independent, I have to be the one to fix my own computer. I can go to my man and say, can you fix this computer?
Hold on. Let's not go to expertise. I want to put that off the side.
But that's what it seems like. You're talking about roles.
I'm about to make it clear.
Okay.
There's no expertise in pumping gas. Do you agree with that, Tone? Is that an expertise in pumping gas?
No. I don't see what's wrong with conducting and upholding yourself as a lady and allowing a man to pump your gas, shovel your snow, cut your grass, and still hold independent.
Right. So can I be not an alpha male and still say, hey, I need you to 5 days a week, I need you to go ahead and throw that meal together in the kitchen?
Not a problem. That doesn't take away from my independence.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, I guess that there's no such thing as equality in a marriage.
Well, tell me, Tom, because I've never been married, so I cannot speak to that.
My thing is, I just believe that it's all about playing what hat you have to play. Be on whatever team you have to be on, that's the team you have to play on. Now, if we like I think Warmack alluded to this, where if we coming into a relationship and you want to live that out, independency, take everything that goes with it. Don't just be independent in some areas. But here's the thing. I'm going to teach you it. So if it's one of those things, if you that independent, then if your tire break down, I'm going to show you how to change the tire. You get what I mean? If you in that situation, then you can change the tire. If you want to be that person, if you that kind of person. But now if you call me up and say, hey, I need this. Well, my wife don't have to worry about it. I'm going to do it anyway because that's just, I feel what a man does. You know what I mean? So, so some things I just feel is just my job to do anyway, whether you feel it or not. This is what I'm supposed to do. But my thing is that, I think that you should just work as a team. I like some independent qualities. Oh, yes, I do. I like some independent qualities and some things I don't think is necessary. You know what I mean? To be, but that's just my opinion, you know. But I like some independent qualities, and I think that's sexy about women. That's a sex appeal. I think it's attractive when my wife display those signs of independency. It makes her. She looks more confident. Is a turn on. You know what I mean? In that area of just displaying that. But when you weak, that's not a turn on to me. I think that's a turn off, to be honest. And you know, because that's that old ghetto mentality. I'm gonna pay the desperate woman, and I need you and your money to take care of me. Now I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, Tone, because I mean, and I don't want to go like religious, but I mean, am I mistaken when I say that, you know, that's more of the traditional role that is prescribed as a God-fearing woman? You know, she go to church, she take care of the kids, she cook your dinner, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's been kind of preached, taught, of what a virtuous woman is. Am I mistaken?
Well, here's the thing. On a virtuous woman, it's just showing the characteristics of this woman and how she cares. It's not really of an obligation and a duty. It's just sharing what this is what's inside of this woman, whether she was raised this way or whether she's not. This is the abilities that she have, the natural abilities that she have to take care of either her child or her man. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's a job description to say if I don't fulfill it. You know what I mean? So now there's no goodwill behind it. You just doing it just to do it, and it's not gonna come.
No, I mean, but I'm just saying there are like it's sad to me that women who choose to allow their man to be like subscribe to a more traditional role. And I mean, like you said, you know, everybody has their preference, but it just kind of saddens me that women just can't be who they need to be, and it not be so judged. So if a woman wants to choose to stay home and raise her children and not go to work, and you know, just appease her man, you know, why is that seen as weak? You know, versus this is just how she chooses. You know, she don't want to go out and drive. She don't want to go out and deal with the world. She just want to be at home and raise her kids and be Susie Housemaker. Like, why is that a weak thing?
I don't think that's weak, though.
Me either.
I don't think that's weak at all. I think that that's just something that y'all agreed on, and you doing what you feel is necessary. You're good, and don't look at this as being bad, but you're good. You know how to handle that when I probably don't. You know what I mean? I don't have the makeup or the patience when you probably do. Now here's the thing: there's some men who are better at that than their wives, where the man stay home, but yet he get looked up as like he a punk or something. You a punk because
you're right. You're right.
And I think that that's wrong. You know what I mean? Say that because he's good at that, and she's good at the workforce. You know what I mean? Where
I'm about to be good at that. I'm about to be at the house, and then when she come home, it'll be clean.
Right.
I'll just cook.
Right.
You know, I'll be at the house. I have an apron on. Hey, honey, what would you like? I'm just gonna be at the house. I ain't gonna feel bad about it, Tone.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. If that's what y'all agreed upon, now if you didn't agree on that, then that's
right.
If you didn't agree on that, then it's different. But if you put yourself
at the house,
yeah. I mean, you know, so I mean, I guess you know, it is a what do you call that? A standard. What is that word? When women believe it's cool for a woman to be independent, but it's not cool when a man not showing that, and he's helping out at the house. You know, he's really a weak person. You know what I mean? Because of that. But now I think it's different in white society more than I do so in black society. Do you know it's more accepted for a white man, even if he do stay home, that's more accepted than it is in a. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just saying it seems more accepted in the white families than it do in black families. Because if that brother don't work, he gonna get talked about all night long. He gonna get talked about in front of him with that girl's mama, her daddy, her sister, her friends, the guy on the job. Everybody gonna know this joke ain't no good, and that's all he want to do, and he can't even do this and this and that. And I don't know why it's like that, but it's like that. You know what I mean? It's like that.
It is. I don't disagree.
I'm about to jump on a hoverboard with my daughter. We're about to go on our evening walk.
Yeah.
And we about to do our hoverboard walk.
Oh, yeah.
I'm walking. She gonna be on the hoverboard.
I was about to say, you're gonna get on a hoverboard.
No, she is.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
okay.
Guys,
well,
be safe out there.
This was good. This was
good discussion today.
Good really good. Good energy.
Time flew. I didn't realize. It didn't feel
like
it's
good like that. It was right.
Yeah, it flies. You know what I mean?
Hold on, it's gonna fly. Listen, it's gonna fly in November when Tone get his wish. When Biden the president, it's really gonna fly in too.
No, I can't. We're gonna have a lot of conversations.
Right. Because every time something happens, topic. I told y'all I wasn't gonna do nothing for y'all.
Right, it's gonna be his nah.
Well, I'm in a good place. I mean, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's all love at the end of the day. We trying to do a podcast, and talk about these topics, and whoever want to listen, whoever don't, they won't. You know what I mean? But guys, listen, I enjoyed your company. Guys, if you want to subscribe, please go to our YouTube page. You can go to our YouTube page at the Round Table Podcast Official. You can go watch us on our website, which I never visit. I'm gonna need to start visiting, but you can go to our website. It's live going on. Obviously, you're on Facebook now. Stay tuned. We got more great information to cover. Guys, we're bouncing around. There's so much to talk about, but we would love it if you do subscribe, if you do like this and share it, guys. And go to our YouTube. Just go to our YouTube page and see so many videos, past videos that we've done. There's a lot of information. We're not just here on Facebook, but you could definitely check us out if you want to hear some topics and just probably get to know our character. Sometimes they used to say if you want to know a person, all you need to do is just let them talk, but you'll know each and every last one of us just by what we say to come out of our mouths. And you can go back and look at that information to build. Don't just judge us by the first part of this conversation. Listen to what we're talking about, what we've said, and then form your opinion that way. We would love for you to do that, and we love it when you guys comment. So, in saying that, peace out. Robert masking up, getting ready to go out in his adventure. And guys, listen, I want you guys to be cool, and we'll talk to you next time we come out next Sunday, 4:30. See you soon.
Have a lovely day.
I'm out.